What are some things we should be looking at when it comes to creation?
So first off, expect to suck at the start. Don't judge yourself until you make 100 videos. The other thing I would say is always pay attention to what you have instead of what you don't have.
How do you go about making the connection with these amazing, amazing entrepreneurs? What's the first step?
Whoever you're trying to get, where are they spending their most time right now? And you want to be there, giving love, giving value.
Today we're joined by entrepreneur, author, keynote speaker, 2.8 million YouTube subs, built and sold biotech company by age 19, Evan Carmichael. Welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Good to be here, man.
Evan, it's my pleasure. I've been following you on YouTube for quite some time. Really, really impressive. Before we get into modern day tactics, I want to go back in time a little bit. And I got to ask you, age 19, you've got a great offer, great company that you can go work for, but you decide, you know what, I'm going to double down. I'm going to go all in on entrepreneurship. Why would you take that risk? Why take that risk at 19?
Mark's done his homework. He's done his homework digging through my background. Regret, dude. It was regret. I didn't want to live with the regret of knowing, or of not knowing, of wondering what if. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I had an offer, 6 figures out of school with the dream job that I thought I wanted in investment banking and traveling around the world and all the stuff that I thought I wanted and my friends wanted. It was all the jobs that we were after. Or make $300 a month, own 30% of this biotech startup. And I didn't know that it would work. I wasn't that smart. It was more, I needed to know. I would rather know and fail than not know. And the thing that gave me the confidence to do it was I gave myself a year. Some of my friends were taking a year to travel or backpack or explore or whatever. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a year and do this. And worst case, I go and get another job. It may not be the same job in the same company for the same pay with the same travel, but I could always get another job, I thought, in investment banking. At least that's what I convinced myself of. But I didn't know if this entrepreneurial thing would ever happen again. So I need to say yes, and I need to try it. And thankfully, it worked out. It wasn't easy, but it worked out, and I haven't had to have a job since.
That's a beautiful thing. And I think that really resonates with me a lot as well, Evan. My grandfather, rest in peace now. I remember sitting beside him and him opening up a scrapbook and going through all his entire life. And I said to myself, hey, I'm going to have to do this with my grandkids one day. And am I going to live with that regret from not taking the risk, from not taking that leap? Really resonates a lot. But the challenge is, you get into this business, you're trying to build it up and nothing is working. How did you know that I'm going to continue to double down when nothing's working and everything's burning around you? It's hard as an entrepreneur to keep seeing and keep believing in yourself, right? What caused you to do that?
Well, I think lack of belief is the world's biggest problem. That's what I'm waking up every day trying to help people through. I think everybody's got what I call Michael Jordan level genius at something, but we're not doing it. You could be the best in the world at something, but it's probably not what you went to school for, and it's probably not what your parents did or anybody around you is doing. And it's trying to keep that belief alive that you could be the world's greatest at something, and you've got to find it. And if you haven't found it, you got to go out and search. And if you have found it, but you're just not good enough yet, you got to keep honing the craft. For me, the toughest day of my life was when I was 20 or so, and I quit on my business partner. I said, I quit. I can't do this anymore. It's not working. I feel worthless as a human. It's like I'm putting in lots of work, lots of hours every day. I wasn't seeing my friends, wasn't going out. I had no money to go out anyway. It's just wake up, go to my business partner's apartment. I work from his dining room table, work all day long until it was past dark, and go sleep, wake up next day, same thing. That was my rinse and repeat every single day. So it wasn't for lack of effort. If you're not trying hard and you don't get results, it's kind of okay. But it's when you're pounding your face in and you're still just not getting anywhere that you start to feel, at least for me, like a worthless human being. And so I quit on the business, and I said, I need to feel like I'm just valuable somewhere, right, somehow, and then that night I barely slept, and I woke up the next day with the same thing in my head of, I don't want to live with regret. It's like, you know what? I don't know if this is going to work out. Given everything that's happened, is probably not going to work out, but I know I haven't given everything I've got yet. And I don't want to look back when I'm X number of years old and say, I wish back when I was 20, I just gave it one more week or one more month because I had a little left in my tank. And that gave me the courage to just keep going.
Well, I think that that's an intangible of every great entrepreneur. You have to have that grit, that determination, because things are going to go bad. It is going to happen, you know, whether it's drama with your spouse or with a business partner or with the bank, it's inevitable, right? I'm kind of curious. You're working with thousands and thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs, hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs. What do you find is a common denominator as far as a great challenge that all great entrepreneurs must overcome to get to that next level?
I think it all starts with the belief that it's possible. I think there's so many people who are super smart, who have great ideas, who also want to serve. It's not just about making $1 million, but it's about serving people. I've met so many entrepreneurs who've got a huge heart, a great message, a great story, a fantastic product or service, want to serve and want to do good, but because they don't believe they can, they get stuck. They get stuck in things that don't matter. Somebody wants to start a podcast. They get stuck in, well, what microphone do I use? And I don't have the perfect headset yet. And I don't know how to ask questions yet. And all of the things that just prevent you from doing the thing that you could be great at. And meanwhile, there are dummies out there with less heart, less care, less drive, ambition to do good, who are winning off of your idea because they just started, because they just did something. Meanwhile, you're still stuck overthinking, over-planning, over-preparing for what the perfect launch is going to be. And I'm just trying to apply pressure against that to say, go, make, create. You'll figure it out. Like, we can't be here in the same spot in 6 months still planning our exit.
Yeah, that perfection paralysis is a killer. It's definitely delayed my progression quite a bit, but eventually you just got to put it out there and let other people give you feedback. Do you think that that's also really, really important, at least for you, surrounding yourself with the right people? I know, kind of fast forwarding a little bit, when it comes to your YouTube growth journey, as soon as you brought on a coach or a mentor, it just kind of exploded. You know, how important do you think that is for an up and coming entrepreneur?
I think, always afraid to ask for help. I was afraid of disappointing other people. I had a lot of insecurities. And so it took me a lot longer than I think it needs to take people. Like, part of it is I'm still, as much as I'm going off on people, say, hey, get started, go do it. I'm still talking to myself from 19, right? I mean, your purpose comes from your pain. Whatever you struggled the most with is what you want to help other people not have to suffer through. So, yeah, I mean, it took me a long time before I was willing to ask for help, to get some coaching and mentoring. Steve, who's still my agent today, I don't know how many years ago now that was when he first helped me, but gave me some great feedback and advice for me to get better. And I did the work, and I slowly got better. I mean, I have over 10,000 videos now on my channel. Not all of them are public because a bunch of them are practice sessions. 10,000 videos. Like, forget the 10,000 hour rules, like 10,000 videos on the channel. It's crazy. This is a lot of work, but for me, I'm introverted, I'm shy, super uncomfortable in front of the camera. All of the things that I think your audience could probably get there a lot faster than me if they didn't do as many stupid things as I did. And that's partly why I want to get on and share the message. Like, how long did it take you to go from the idea of having this show to actually recording the first episode?
It was a little while. I mean, to be frank, I tried a number of different businesses and projects. I knew I wanted to take control of my life, right? Because I didn't want to be that corporate drone who didn't have control of my destiny. That's, to me, one of my biggest fears, is not having control. So I tried a number of different things, and things just kept they either didn't work or they didn't feel right. They didn't feel like a fit for me as a person. They work for someone else, but maybe not for me. But I mean, I think
this show, you had an idea for a show like this. How long before you actually recorded your first episode?
I would, I mean, I would say, so this show specifically, After Hours Entrepreneur, I had the idea for maybe a year or so, but I was already doing another podcast. I was trying to kind of learn the ropes. But one of the things I think is funny for me, Evan, is I could have launched the show probably 6 months earlier than I did, but I wanted the perfect name. I just wanted to have that perfect name.
Yeah.
And and in hindsight, it's such a silly thing.
It doesn't matter, but this is what people, and hey, congrats to you on not letting that 6 months or 12 months be 5 years, because that's what a lot of people do. And my obsession is to shorten that gap from 6 months to 6 hours, because episode 1 should be, you pull out your phone, you press record, and say, hey guys, it's Mark. I'm starting a new show. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. And I'm tired of spending all this time thinking about stupid names. So I'll figure out what I'm going to call it later. I'm starting this new show. It's going to be about telling people's journeys and their come-ups and trying to share advice and wisdom. And I'm super scared about doing this because I tried a whole bunch of other things that haven't worked out yet. But hopefully this is the one that lets me win, because I'm tired of being a corporate drone and I need to escape. And hopefully if I figure that out, you guys can learn with my journey too, and you guys can go off and build something amazing. So there you go, episode 1. Thank you for subscribing. I'll see you soon. Post, right? Like, that's episode 1. 45 seconds or 2 minutes. I don't know how long I talked there, but like, that should be episode 1. And then you make it better, because maybe you filmed that when it was windy outside and there was all sorts of, a bug flew in your face or whatever, right? Like, you record and you get it up there, because I think it's great to be able to look back on the archive. Episode 1 should suck.
Right.
Because what's your message to people? Only create when it's perfect? Right? That's not the message that you're trying to say. So why is that? And not you, Mark, like everybody. This is everybody, right? All the ideas that you're thinking on, you're sitting on, you're dreaming on one day, right? Your message to your kids is not going to be wait until it's perfect. Wait till you have it all figured out. Wait till you have the great name before you launch. Your message to them is going to be put it up, start, create momentum. Like, let's go. So your first episode should suck, because you don't want people to look back on your thing to say, well, look at you, Mark. Like, when you started, you had everything all set up. You had everything perfect, right? So people should be able to go back to episode 1 and see how crappy it is. Like, I think if episode 1 doesn't suck, then you suck as a human, because you waited like way too long to actually get it going.
That's a good point, and especially with the resources we have. I mean, you could have a YouTube channel up and running in less than an hour off of your smartphone. Why wait? Why wait? You just don't know what's going to happen. I had a video that's now reached almost 500,000 people and only have 500 subscribers on the channel. So it's just pretty crazy what can happen when you start putting yourself out there. And listen, everyone, I want you to go ahead and post something today that you were uncomfortable with, and I want you to tag Evan Carmichael. I want you to show him some love, because that's what he does. And I want to talk about all the different things that you're doing, Evan. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about YouTube, right? Because you dug deep into YouTube. You had 5 years of grinding, not a lot of growth on your YouTube channel. I'm just curious, as someone who's new to YouTube, new to content creation, what are some key characteristics that we should be looking at to say, hey, this is working, this isn't working, I want to double down on this? What are some things we should be looking at when it comes to creation?
So first off, expect to suck at the start. It took me 350 public videos until I wasn't completely embarrassed by myself. Like, I couldn't watch it back. Super embarrassed. Like, oh my gosh, I said that, or oh, come on. We're so hard on ourselves. And took 700 public videos until I inspired myself, where I watched the video back. It's like, oh my gosh, you know what? I think I'm kind of getting good at this.
Only 700.
So just expect to suck at the beginning. It's fine. It's normal. Like, you should suck at the beginning. Again, that doesn't mean you suck as a person. You just don't have the skill sets yet. So create expecting it not to be fantastic yet. It's hard because you know what good looks like, because you can watch other people's shows. Maybe you love Mark's show and you watch what he's doing. It's like, man, Mark, you're so good. You got the voice, you got the setup, you ask great questions, you got these guests. Like, you're so good. You know what Mark's show looks like, and then you go create your own, and it's nowhere close. But you're judging against Mark's middle, right? Not where he started. So just expect to suck at the beginning, and it's awesome, and reward yourself for putting out something that sucked, that you were afraid of, and then you just make tomorrow's better. It's not all about one video. Nobody really cares about episode 1, right? Make 2 and make 3 and make 4 and make 100 and make 200, right? You just keep going. I think until you get to 100 videos, like I would commit to making 100 videos. Don't judge yourself until you make 100 videos. I'm actually looking at pulling my own data and maybe some of my friends who have big YouTube channels and just seeing where they were at 100 videos. Like at 100, where were you? You know, how good were you? How many subs did you have? Because it took me 5 years to get to 7,000 subscribers. 5 years of making videos. So just expect to suck at the start. The other thing I would say is always pay attention to what you have instead of what you don't have. So if Mark has 700 or 500 subscribers on his YouTube channel, I'm worried about the 500. Like I want to give the best, like, thank you for showing up. That's 500 people. Holy cow. Imagine if you were speaking in an audience and there were 500 people out there in the audience. You'd be freaking out, right? You'd be like a nervous wreck behind the stage. Like, oh my God, there's 500 people out there. That, you know, that's how I would always see it. In my first video, in the first year of the video going up, I had 3 comments on it. My mom was the first one. My older sister was the second comment. And some random guy was the third comment. And it's like, oh my God, a random somebody found my video. You know, it's amazing. And yes, you can always look. And listen, I want to grow like everybody else. I want to hit, you know, we're at 400 something million views. I want to hit 1 billion. We're at almost 3 million subscribers. I want to hit 10. You know, I want to grow. I want to impact. I want to reach more people. I want to spread the message. And it's still much more about who is showing up and who I am serving right now, even if that only means that 4 people watched your videos, 4 people who watched your video. And 1 person commented. They took their time, 1 person to comment. And by focusing on them, they'll actually take you to everybody else. And so I find that and this isn't just a YouTube thing. This is podcasts, this is Instagram, this is everything. We're focused on what we don't have instead of the audience that we currently do have and serving them as best as possible.
I definitely think that listening to the people that are listening to you is probably one of the most important things you can do early and often. Because to your point, even if you've got 5 people listening, that's 5 people. Why are they listening? Why do they like you? Double down on that. One of my goals this year is to try to have personal phone call with every single one of my subscribers and listeners, right? So I'm kind of putting that out there so I can get that feedback. That's something I learned from Travis Chappelle, who another big podcaster. So some really good stuff here. I want to talk a little bit about collaboration because I think that's something that you've done just tremendously, Evan. You've worked with Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Patrick Bet-David. Like I could go down the list, but that would be our entire interview, right? How do you go about making the connection with these amazing, amazing entrepreneurs? What's the first step?
Yeah, funny you said that because in 2 hours and 15 minutes, I'm doing another interview with Tony Robbins on the channel that goes live this Sunday. The first step is getting known in the industry. So whoever you're trying to get to, you have to get on their radar. Like, how did you get on my radar? How did this thing happen?
Well, it's funny you ask. I ended up, so I knew I wanted Evan Carmichael on my show just because I love your work. I love your YouTube channel. And I noted that you had just started a YouTube gaming channel, right? Which was still pretty small. And listen, guys, you guys got to follow Evan Carmichael Gaming because he's going to give you one-on-one attention right there. And so that's how I got on your radar. I think I started talking to you there, and then kind of went from there.
So super smart, So to reverse engineer that, pay attention to where the person you're trying to target is themselves personally. If you tried to get a hold of me through my main YouTube channel or even through Instagram, it would be rough because I have barriers up because lots of people are trying to access me that way. On my YouTube gaming channel right now, there's, 8 people who show up in the chat consistently, right? So like if you're one of those 8 and you're giving love, I'm going to pay attention to you, right? And I stream for 1.5 hours to 2 hours, 4 times a week typically. And if you're there, you have access to me. And so you reverse engineer that. Whoever you're trying to get, where are they spending their most time right now? And you want to be there, giving love, giving value. You could be on my LinkedIn all day long, posting great comments and feedback. I'm just not seeing it.
Right.
Just because that's not where my attention is right now. So that's step number 1. Step 2 is once you get something, so you got this with me, now you should look at who is following me on Instagram and then doing outreach to them to say, hey, we had Evan Carmichael on. Do you want to come on? And, you know, Evan Carmichael means nothing to most of the world, but to people who follow me on Instagram, they know who I am. If they're already following me, they're following me for a reason. They may not know who Mark is yet, but, oh, Evan was on? Okay, that's cool. I might, maybe I say yes. And if you're trying to get after somebody bigger, you know, if you wanted to have Grant Cardone on, I would look at everybody that Grant follows on Instagram. And there'll be some big names who will be impossible to get, you know, The Rock and whoever else. But there's going to be a bunch of smaller names on there too who would actually be super easy to get. And if you have something that you like about their story, so now, you know, Grant follows me on Instagram. If you had me, and then you had 3 or 4 other people that Grant followed who are smaller, who you may not have heard of before, but they came on your show. And again, it's not just about the biz dev to get the grant. They have to have a story. They have to have something that, you know, authentically you would want to share with your audience, right? It's not just for the access. But if you got 4 of those people on, and then you reached out to Grant to say, hey, Grant, we had these 4 people on. Do you want to come on next? It's a much higher chance of a yes because, oh, all these people said yes who I follow and I know. He's much more likely to say yes. So that, like bringing value to where they're paying attention and then hacking who they're paying attention to as well so that you have a little more credibility going in the door.
Yeah, that's super smart and definitely the process, the system that I've tried to follow. You know, if someone's trying to grow their YouTube channel, meet them there. If someone's launching a new book, tell them you want to promote their book and then just kind of piggyback and keep leveling up. And to your point, it's going to take time. You know, it's going to take time. It took me a long time to get Evan Carmichael on the show, but here we are.
Here's another quick one from last night. So Elena Cardone goes live on Instagram last night. I joined. And now, I mean, I know Elena. I've known Elena for years now, right? So it's not like it's a brand new connection, but she's going live on her Instagram. She was promoting her 10X Ladies Networking event. Okay. So she calls out in her chat or in her live, ladies, if you want to join us, go to 10xladies.com/network. And then she's answering questions and everything. So what do? I go to the chat inside Instagram and I type in 10xladies.com/network. Copy, pasted it like 3 or 4 times. 10xladies.com/network. She sees it and then pins it as a comment. Right?
So you show love, you get love.
Yeah, she doesn't have the time to go and type in 10xladies.com, or she forgot to do it, right? But I'm giving her the love. Whatever she cares about, like, what does she care about right now in this live stream? She cares about her ladies networking event. So instead of just asking her some question, I'm going to help promote it. It could have been anybody in that stream. It doesn't have to be me. Nobody was posting the link. I posted the link to what she cared about, and it's great when it's somebody else. It's not them. Oh, Evan posted the link down here, so let me pin that instead of it being you posting your own promotional link down below. So she pinned it. So now already if she didn't know who I was, now she knows who I am a little bit. Like maybe she clicks on my profile afterwards, maybe she remembers it. But now as she's talking about 10X Ladies, she's referring back. Like check the pinned comment that Evan Carmichael left about the 10X Ladies Networking event. It's right down there at the bottom. So she's then said my name 3 or 4 times throughout the live stream. And so it's not even just about her saying my name to her audience. It's about her saying my name to herself.
Yeah, it's giving giving without that expectation of getting back, and then showing up regularly because it might not be the first time. I like how you copy and pasted it 3 times, and then finally, you know, she caught it, put it on her radar, and shared it out. Listen, Evan, we're running low on time, but I got to know before I let you go. The world is changing incredibly rapidly. New technology all the time. New Clubhouse just came out, which is a software I'm really bullish on. I'm really excited about. What are you excited about here going into 2021, 2022? What are you really looking at? What are you excited about?
I think Clubhouse is actually great. If you're in podcasting, you like audio, Clubhouse is the best place that you need to be right now. A lot of super smart people. Again, you can get access. I was in a group yesterday with Grant, Elena, and me. Like Elena went on, then Grant went on, then I went on, right? So you can get access to people who you otherwise wouldn't get access to. If you're in podcasting and you love audio, it's the hardest one for me because I don't like audio. I don't consume any audio content. So it forces me to be a little more, I just have to be more thoughtful and just more present than I would with video. And YouTube. Like YouTube is still there's still a wide open playing field. If you're a thought leader, if you're an expert, if you're a coach, if you got information that you can share that will change people's lives, YouTube is now the place that people are going to search. They are going for education. They are going for long form education. And chances are, whatever you're an expert at, there aren't many good videos on. Whatever you're an expert at, whatever you're great at, there aren't many good videos on. So there's definitely room for your voice right now. And the best part about YouTube is your content lives forever. So a Clubhouse is great to make connection and to build up an audience and to do some business development and to get access to people you wouldn't be able to access. YouTube, though, when you make your video, this video that we're making now turns into a YouTube video in 5 years is still getting marked views,
right,
subscribers, attention, interest, and nothing else works like that. If Clubhouse doesn't work like that, it disappears, immediately. Instagram, nobody's going back 5 days on your Instagram, let alone 5 years. Podcasts have a kind of long trajectory, but most people don't go back. They might listen to episode 1, but most people don't go back and listen to every single episode as they go through. So your YouTube videos is, I think, the single biggest if you're a thought leader or coach, YouTube is your single biggest opportunity for 2021.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there. And the one thing you didn't mention there is that searchability. The searchability is absolutely huge. So if someone types in a question, you answer it, you solve it. It's absolutely genius. Evan, thank you so much for your time. This was beautiful. I look forward to watching your story continue to grow, brother.
Thanks for the love, Mark. Good to be here.
Believe. I'm glad you enjoyed this episode. I've got several other episodes right here for you. Smash one of these videos to make sure that you don't miss out on the tips, tools, and tactics of industry experts. Let's take that side hustle full time. Smash one of these links.